Hi everyone, Grant here. So happy to be able to provide some more on-demand content for Jasper talking about my favourite subject, pet loss and pet grief. Now, in my previous recording, I spoke about and gave a definition of what pet loss is, and that it's an umbrella term that covers many different types of pet losses, from the physical loss to death to anticipatory loss. Now, today I wish to talk about the human-pet bond. What forms a human-pet bond, why it makes our relationship so special, and therefore how that gives us an indicator and an understanding as to why we're grieving the way that we are when we lose our pets. Now, the human-pet bond isn't just established simply by virtue of time spent together. It goes deeper than that, and it's more complex. It also goes beyond those things that we've had to deal with as people, from attachment wounds, abandonment trauma, perhaps when young or various times throughout our life, for when we've been hurt by other people. Maybe our needs haven't been met. Maybe we're uncomfortable or don't have the ability to communicate our needs with a person. Perhaps people have let us down. We have trust issues. We've been embroiled in conflict with other people throughout our life for whatever reason. Now, with pets, we don't have those things. They fill a lot of those gaps. They fill those spiritual voids. Constant meeting of needs, a relationship based on everything other than spoken word. Non-transactional, pure, unconditional love. We may have progressed through life not knowing how to love, not knowing how to care. And equally, we may have progressed through life not feeling worthy of receiving love and receiving care. And then when we bond with a pet, we get those things and we give those things. There's that daily continual meeting of needs, which is beautiful. It's beautiful to see it flourish and prosper and develop into something more deep. And there's also that unspoken and the unknown element of the human-pet bond, that thing that you can't quite put your finger on, that special ingredient to the dish, that thing that just makes it something a little bit more special and elevates it beyond words. And in a time when we have an explanation, we have an understanding, there's a reason for everything, I think it's very nice and a beautiful thing to have an unknown element to something. I think it links into that connectedness with nature, that thing that we can't necessarily define. And I think that's the thing of beauty. And when we bond with our pets, it's that sixth sense. When you look into their eyes and they look into your eyes longingly, and there's an exchange. There's an exchange there. There's an exchange of love and affection and understanding and respect. And by looking into their eyes, we can often tell what's going on. How are they physically? How are they emotionally? What do they need at this time? And because we don't talk to them, they can't talk to us, we become very aware and in tune with this way of diagnosing things which are going on with our pets. So daily this is building, daily this is forming, it's solidifying, it's strengthening, it's taking shape over the time that we get to spend with our pets. Of course, time can help to solidify and make the bond more intense. It's not necessarily fundamental to a depth of bond. Timing could be. It could be the time that an animal has come into your life. Maybe you've lost someone very special. Maybe you're going through a hard time. Whatever other circumstances have transpired, you have just connected with another living being at the right time for both of you, and therefore you've been open to such bond, and so have they. That bond has been established and then it deepens. Now, with all those elements combined, it's said that we are then profoundly bonded with our pet. And when we're profoundly bonded, it really does cover all of those things that we spoke about, that sixth sense, that talking to them in childlike voices, giving them nicknames, referring to them as our fur baby and so on and such like, and really elevating them beyond personal relationships with people, because they give us so much when perhaps people have been notoriously bad at meeting our needs, at giving us what we need, at hurting us, traumatizing us, letting us down, judging us. It's one thing your animal will never do. It's never going to judge you. It doesn't look at you at 6 o'clock in the morning and tell you that you should be looking better than what you do, or you don't look so good. You are loved unconditionally. And that's very addictive. That's very intoxicating. And people question why we bond so much when we have that unconditional, non-judging, pure love. It's a beautiful thing. And then when we lose it, that's why we grieve so heavily. It goes without question. Go without explanation. All the evidence is there. It's completely clear. To us, of course. Maybe not to people that can't bond with pets or have never bonded with a pet or have trouble expressing their emotions. They can't quite grasp the depth of feeling. Now, you can also have two categories of human-pet bond below profoundly bonded. You have weakly bonded. And that's when a pet is used for a specific purpose and nothing else. There's no love there. There's no real affection. The pet is kept alive in order to perform that particular function or utility. Think guard dog, something like that. Think maybe a fighting animal. Awful as it sounds, it does happen, but these animals are kept alive just to perform that function. It's a one-way relationship. Okay, so that's considered to be weakly bonded. You then move on to the next category, which could be moderately bonded. And that's when there is a little bit of affection there. Maybe the pet will be allowed into the home. The pet will be looked after to a greater extent. But again, it's still very much a one-way relationship where the pet will perform a function for its human owner, and they'll be quick to call themselves owner as opposed to parents. So this could be in the case of a greyhound racing trainer who could in time build up some affection for their dogs and care for them in order to maximise the dog's performance on the track. But what happens when a dog stops making money? What happens when a dog becomes an expense rather than something that's generating profit? It may be then cast aside or sent to an adoption agency. So again, these people may have a degree of affection for their dogs. They may grieve them when they pass. But this dog is purely there for human entertainment. You then move up into profoundly bonded, as I've already covered. And the final category could be excessively bonded. And excessively bonded, and again, this isn't a criticism of anybody, because some people I know feel like they're being attacked or criticised when they're told maybe they're excessively bonded. It's not a negative slur. That's when excessively bonded relationships consist of a relationship that is everything. The exclusion of every other person. The pet parent will consider their relationship with their animal to be far and away the best thing that's ever happened to them, and they would consider their pet to be their life partner. Excessively bonded people and relationships are often connected to some kind of pathology. Be linked to depression or anxiety. Not in every case, but it goes to an extreme. And then what happens is the thought and the prospect of even losing them becomes completely unbearable and debilitating, let alone the loss itself. And then when the loss does occur, the person is unable to function, moving into areas where they could be considered to be unsafe. Perhaps they have suicidal ideation, and they need a variety of interventions and assistance to help them at a very, very difficult time. And most people that I speak to and most people in the Jasper community will be profoundly bonded. I know that because you're here. You loved so much and therefore you're grieving so much. Remember, those things are intertwined, always connected, two sides of the same coin. So by understanding your own unique human-pet bond helps you to understand the nature of your grief, helps you to put some validity on that grief. It helps you understand that it's normal. It helps you to defend it. Of course you're grieving. Of course you're grieving so hard and for as long as it takes because of all the things that we spoke about. That connectedness, that bond, that love, that unconditional regard for each other. It's a very rare thing in this life. And you had it. Maybe sometimes on multiple occasions. And you carry that forward with you. So please take the very best care. I look forward to seeing you within the discussion boards and within the numerous groups that we run on a weekly basis. If you do need one-to-one support, don't hesitate to reach out to the wonderful coaches that work with Jasper. Anytime you have any questions about anything to do with pet grief, please send them my way and I'll respond very, very quickly. But for now, take the best care. See ya.